What's going on, guys? It's the Bigs Podcast. Tonight we are doing episode number 74, part 1. And we'll be discussing week 4 of the 2023 big season. With me tonight, as always, from New Jersey, Mike Haber. Mr. Haber, how you doing tonight?
Doing well, Jason. Thanks for doing this with me again. I'm just waiting for the rain to stop once. I mean, we got one nice day here, and then it started raining tonight. So it's like insane on the East Coast right now. All these games getting postponed.
Yeah, I mean, the Mets have played like 2 games in the last week or so. So
Yeah.
it's been pretty awful.
Yeah, it's been rough, but we're into May, so hopefully we turn a corner here.
Yeah, some Mayflowers and second month of the season coming up. I can't believe it's already been a month.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's insane. You wait for the season all year in the off season, then it gets here and then it's over. It's wild.
That's the excitement and anticipation, and then then you're here and it just flies by.
Yep.
All right. Well, this was another fascinating week in the bigs. Let's kick things off. We're going to talk about your matchup first, and this was a dandy. As you were going against Yandy and Joe Schubert.
Yeah, this was I was nervous about going into this one. I felt like we were pretty evenly matched at the start of the week. But I'll let you start it off with some of these stats here, and then I can, give my 2 cents at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And this was the matchup that I was looking forward to the most coming into the week. And while the score was very lopsided, it was still just fun to watch you both just do what you guys do and try to manage the best you can. And you came away with a big win. So congrats to you. Close categories this week. You win by the triple. You win by 3 steals. You win by a save, 2 homers by a pitcher, 1 strikeout by a pitcher. Joe wins by the error. He wins by the win, and that's it. And you guys tied in losses and relief appearances. And this was a very fascinating thing, especially going into watching that Sunday night game. This was a very fascinating turn of events that happened, and we'll get into it. But let's talk about your bench this week. This week you went 8 for 48, which is a nice 167 batting average. 8 runs, a double, 5 homers, 11 RBIs, 1 steal, 6 walks, 9 strikeouts, 2 errors. None of it plays. You also benched some shitty pitching from Jack Flaherty and Joe Musgrove, which I thought was pretty bold, especially the Musgrove start. And that paid off huge. So good job on that.
Thank you.
Your ads this week, you used 11. All of them were on pitchers, I believe. Anything that stood out to you that you want to talk about?
Well, the Brent Rooker ad at the very beginning. I don't know if that was the Sunday night before or the Monday, but
I think it technically was part of the Sunday night.
Okay.
But I mean, if it was still just, we'll get to Rooker, but yeah, that was a great ad.
Yeah. The impact of him was huge. And then just playing the relief appearance game with Joe was so much it was just a chess match all week. And I just think it's so fitting that it ended 20-20 in relief appearances. I'm totally satisfied with that.
I mean, just look at the guys you disposed of, that were on, Justin Lawrence and Graveman, Underwood, Alexander, Griffin Jacks, like Jimenez, Neris, all these guys were, relief appearances. It's pretty incredible the way you manage that. So I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
Let's talk about your key players. The MVP is going to be the aforementioned Brent Rooker, because what the fuck is Brent Rooker doing? 474 average, a 607 on base, 7 runs, a double, 4 homers, 8 RBIs, 6 walks, 6 strikeouts, and an error. And by the way, you also benched him on the 27th, and he hit a 3-run home run that day too.
Yeah.
But in your defense, he was going. I think that's the day he was going against Shohei. So like, yeah. So I get that, but who would have thought? But these stats would have been even more incredible with if he had started.
Yeah, if I got all 5 of those friggin' home runs in, but I'll get into that at the end. I'll explain why they're on the bench.
Your least valuable hitter, I guess I'm giving it to Nolan Gorman, who didn't really do a whole lot. He did get you a steal, 3 walks, 9 strikeouts, a 130 and a 231 on base. I mean, you had a really good week offensively, so it's kind of hard to really narrow down somebody. Everybody kind of did something. But on your pitching side, for the Cy Young, it was interesting because of all the relief appearances. You didn't have a whole lot of like starts. But I am going to give it to George Kirby. I watched this game because my opponent had Matt Strong going, so I was very interested in this game, and I was very upset that the Mariners couldn't score one lousy run to get Strom off the hook for the win, and therefore get Kirby off the hook for the loss. He did go 8 innings, gave up 1 run, took the loss, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. I mean, it was just I watched that game, and he was just carving up the Phillies. It was impressive outing. So I had to give him the Cy Young.
Yeah.
And your Cy Young, I could give it to like Skylar Alexander, but it was just 1 outing. Same with Griffin Jacks. I'm gonna give it to Ronaldo Lopez because I think this guy is probably done.
Very good
2
call.
2/3. Yeah, a homer allowed, a walk, 3 strikeouts, a 10-13, and 150 over 3 appearances. And now he's hurt, and the White Sox are just like in a state of disarray.
Yeah, I mean, he was getting saves for this team, but his appearance on Sunday was it made such a difference in the matchup. It did give me that relief appearance, which was huge, but it also made ERA so much closer. He gave up a home run, which made home runs closer. And if the White Sox didn't miraculously come back and score like 5 runs in the 10th inning or whatever it was, like he would have taken that loss.
Yep.
So Lopez alone was just so monumental in this matchup. And he's also the reason like I would have played Luis Ortiz for that night game and gotten that 21st relief appearance, but like Lopez made ERA just a little bit too close for comfort and home runs. Like, who knows? Ortiz could have come in and gave up 2 bombs, taken the loss, and blown up my ERA. So
right. So that could have flipped 3 categories in 1 outing.
Right. It just wasn't worth it.
Yeah. No, it was really fun to watch that, and I could feel the wheels turning all the way here from Denver, like just thinking, should I start him? Should I not start him? What should we do? And look, it ends up being just a great move and a great week altogether. Let's go over Joe's real quick, and then I'll give you the floor.
Okay.
On Joe's bench, he went. I counted Sunday where he benched the majority of his hitters. I'm sure it was intentional, but he did start a couple of them, so I'm counting it. He did go 8 for 28 for the week. That's a 286 average, 7 runs, 2 doubles, a homer, 4 RBIs, 7 walks, 5 strikeouts. And on Sunday, he benched an error, which ended up being huge, because that would have just made this even a bigger blowout.
Yeah.
Nothing else played. You won all the major hitting categories, so good on you and good on benching. There's nothing that he could have done. His ads this week, he used all 12. I think the only one that we really want to talk about is, I'm going to save it because that's going to be his Cy Young for the week. So let's hit on his key players real quick. For his MVP, it was a little tough, but I'm going to give it to his namesake, Yandy Diaz. 5 runs, a double, a homer, an RBI, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, 368 average, and a 478 on base. He didn't do a whole lot in the counting stats, but I guess he was on base like a lot.
Yeah.
But now he's hurt, I guess, with a shoulder injury. So that's good for me because now I'm facing Joe this week. So hopefully he has to weather that.
Yeah, it's weird. He pinch hit on Saturday. He sustained this injury on Friday and then pinch hit on Saturday. And I was like, oh, I guess he's fine. And he didn't swing the bat once. He just walked twice. He he came up the bat twice and just walked.
He probably just stood there.
Yeah, he probably just stood there, but it I mean, it didn't come back to bite me, but walks were close going into Sunday. Yep. So I was like, are you kidding me with this guy?
His least valuable hitter, I'm gonna give it to Eloy Jimenez. Mookie Betts was terrible too. Grandal was bad. It was a rough week offensively. And now Jimenez is hurt again also, so that's the thing. He benched this 4 for 5. He went 4 for 5 on Sunday, but he's also hurt, so I don't know what's going on with him. But he benched this 4 for 5. Outside of that, the rest of the week he was kind of dog shit. So, going to the pitching side, the Cy Young, yeah. I could give it to Martin Perez, but how about the pick of the week? Josh Fleming. Comes in 6 innings, gives him a relief appearance over 6 innings, doesn't give up a run, a walk, 2 strikeouts. I mean, the only thing he didn't do was get a win.
I remember watching that. I was like, I was in shock. I was in complete and utter shock. Yeah. Every time he's on our team, Jason, he takes the loss. He gives up 6 runs. He walks 4.
You and I always like despise this guy because you're right, just like you said, he's terrible for us. But Joe picks him up and he twirls a gem, coming in as the bulk reliever after an opener against the Astros. Like, you know, I was avoiding him like the plague against someone like the Astros, and he just completely dominates them.
I don't get it.
Yeah. For his Cy Yuck, I guess I'm giving it to Steven Wilson. He because of his 47.25 ERA and 6.75 WHIP over 2 appearances. I think it was really just he get to give up runs in 2 outings this week. It's not a good week for him. He was part of that bombshell in Mexico with the Giants. It was ugly. So let me give you the floor and you can feel free to share whatever you want to share.
All right. Awesome. It was a really fun matchup. I love going up against Joe. He's a great competitor. This was a little bit of an easier week than I expected it to be. As far as I was still managing the hell out of it, like till the very end, as you saw, but the offense was pretty much sealed within like before Wednesday. I was up by 100 points in over 100 points in batting average, over 100 points in on-base percentage. I had 20 RBIs by the end of Tuesday and he had 2. Like it was just kind of a blowout offensively from the beginning. And I do want to give myself credit because that's how I draft my teams is heavy on the offense. And if I can snag a couple pitching categories here and there against my opponent, then I'm giving myself a good chance to win every week. And I think I used that strategy pretty well this week. I benched a lot of production. I did. Like I benched 5 home runs and 11 RBIs, whatever it is. But I think I also I afforded that opportunity to bench those players. And because I was up by so much in the batting average, I didn't want to fall at all. I didn't want to get close in that. I was keeping it close in strikeouts, keeping it close in errors. All of those benchings were on purpose because I didn't like the matchup. And if Brent Rooker hits a 3-run homer off Shohei Ohtani, like I'm shocked, but good for him. He did it on my bench. And Jose Miranda has been bad for me all season. So Sure. Okay. He hit 3 home runs on my bench this week and a couple doubles, but it's okay because I didn't need it. And if there was ever a time for me to like have that go wrong on my bench, like blow up as big as it did, this was a fine week for that to happen. Um, Pitching wise, I feel like I I went in there. The only thing that disrupted my strategy was Reynaldo Lopez on Sunday. Otherwise, like I feel pretty proud of the way I like went about this pitching wise too. I added that rookie Tanner Bibby from Cleveland, who just came in and threw 5 2/3 and struck out 8, I think, and yeah, 5 2/3 got the win, struck out 8, and that was against the Rockies, and that was a huge contributor to the 42 innings that I needed. I wound up getting the 47 because I was so close in relief appearances that I had to keep throwing those relievers out there. But the plan was to get to 42 and then stop and hope I can win some of these like these lower end categories like home runs given up, walks given up. I happened to hold on to strikeouts, which was enormous. He wound up dropping Marco Gonzalez like right before his start, which was a good call as far as like he got blown up. But if he had kept Marco Gonzalez, you're guaranteed to probably take strikeouts from me because I wasn't throwing any starters. And we went in like I think I was up by 4 strikeouts going into Sunday, three or 4 strikeouts going into Sunday. And Martin Perez got him like 2. And then his relievers came in and like couldn't strike anyone out. So it worked out kind of awesome. I think I got some strikeouts from relievers too on Sunday. Was it Nick? It was AJ Puck.
Yeah.
Yeah, Puck came in. He got me the save, which won that category. He got me that 1 strikeout, which won that category.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, I honestly, all I want to say, because you know me, Jason, I'm a humble person, but this one felt really good. And this one felt good because I was going up against an incredible competitor. That's why it felt so good. Not because I want Joe to take that kind of a beating, because I don't, but it just felt good to get that win against someone who A has given me that kind of a beatdown before, and B, someone who has no problem telling me when he's given me that much of a beatdown. So, Joe, I tip my hat to you. I definitely took this round. But you were fighting till the end, and we've got another round in us at the end of this season. So I'm sure you'll be giving it all that you've got. We're probably gonna have 2 very different looking rosters by the end of the season. And that's all I want to say. I don't want to sit here and brag about it. I think I played my ass off and managed my ass off, but I mean, I'm proud of it, but I don't think you have anything, Joe, to be upset about. It was circumstances of the week. Your offense didn't show up, and that's it.
That's just it. I think at this, you both managed as well as you possibly can, as the way you guys both do, and your guys showed up and his didn't. That that it happens every time. So,
Yeah.
I am nervous as all hell because I'm pretty sure he's going to take his frustrations out on me this week, and I'm ready for that.
Yes.
I got the pads on and I'm prepared.
Yes. 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 The only braggy thing I want to say is that I have to bring up the text that he sent me. And I told you this before. He sent me a text after his first at bat of the week on Monday. Mauricio Dubon came up and hit a triple. So Joe texts me and he says, first at bat, I got my triple. Chase me all week. He said, chase me all week. And Joe, I didn't chase you for a minute. I did not chase you for 1 minute of this week. You spent all week chasing me. That's all I want to brag about. That's it. But I love you, Joe. This was a fun matchup.
Kudos. Good job. Good win. And yeah, I'm definitely excited to see round 2 of this. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's move on to our next matchup, and it's gonna be another blowout win. This time for Adam over against Matt. Adam takes a 17-4 victory. You want to tell us about this one, Mike?
Yeah. This one was wild to watch. The close categories were actually a little bit closer than they appeared. There were a bunch of them, but Adam wins by 4 1/3 inning pitched. He wins by 2 wins by a pitcher. He wins by 7 strikeouts by a pitcher, 6 walks by a pitcher, and 1 relief appearance. So Matt was actually kind of close in a lot of these pitching categories. He just needed to make that extra push at the end, which he didn't do. Matt wins by 1 loss and 1 save. And they tied in 0 things. Let's start with Adam on his bench this week. He went a miraculous 3 for 26, which is a 115 batting average, 2 runs, an RBI, 2 walks, 14 strikeouts, and an error. Tremendous job by Adam. None of that plays at all. But damn, that's really good.
That's crazy.
What's interesting though is that he didn't do much this week. So he did an awesome job with kind of a limited bench, but like he only had used 2 ads. He added John Gray and Alex Vesia, and that's it. And he didn't need to do anything else, I guess, but that's all. Yeah. For his key players this week, we're gonna highlight his MVP as Jack Swinski.
Oof.
Yeah, so he
for the first place Pirates.
The first place Pirates. He goes 333 with a 417 on base, 3 runs, 2 doubles, a homer, 6 RBIs, 3 steals, 3 walks, and 8 strikeouts. Did a little bit of everything.
Wow.
Yeah, and a shout out to Tyro Estrada too. Just
yeah.
I mean, that depresses me. But he had a great week.
Yeah, he was on base every at bat practically.
Yeah, he was. And if only the Yankees had held on to that kid, but
things could be looking a little differently for the last place Yankees. Well,
yes.
in 2 minutes, I said the first place Pirates and the last place Yankees. Who would have thought?
Yeah, this is a weird year. Year. And it's May. For his least valuable player, we're going to highlight Ian Happ here, who still had a decent week. Like, he had a great offensive week. So, I'm going to choose Happ, who went 238 with a 360 on base, but he didn't score any runs. And that's pretty much what I was looking at here. He was on base. He was getting some hits and he was throwing some walks. He wasn't striking out that much, but he just, I guess the Cubs weren't scoring a ton. I mean, and when they were, it wasn't him. So
yeah, because I mean, there's a couple of games with 6 runs, 5 runs, but yeah, he didn't cross home plate once.
Yeah,
that's curious.
Yeah, Canna didn't have a good week, but he barely played Canna, so it was hard for me to give him least valuable player. I think he maybe had 1 game where he played.
Yeah, honestly, like, I know me and your brother have had conversations about time to phase this guy out and bring Ronnie Mauricio up, but yeah, I think Canna has lost his polish here.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, you would know better than me. Like, you have other guys that can come up and sort of fill that void if necessary.
I think maybe time to cut bait, but we'll see.
Yeah. Moving on to the pitching side of things for Adam. We'll give his Cy Young to a man you're familiar with, Yusei Kikuchi.
I do see Kikuchi.
No, you say Kikuchi.
Oh, Kikuchi.
There you go. 5 2/3 innings, a win. One walk, 8 strikeouts, nothing earned, and a .88 WHIP. He's been decent.
He actually has been.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's pitching against the garbage White Sox. So I mean, I guess it was sort of an easy win. I think he got a lead early in that game and then just cruised.
Yeah, like he pitched well against the Yankees his last time out before that. So, yeah.
Yeah. And of course, Domingo Germán is pitching a complete game shutout right now against me. But anyway, that's besides the point. His least valuable pitcher, his Cy Yuck, we're gonna give to Mike Clevenger. There he is. 5 innings, a loss, a home run, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, a 10.80 ERA, and a 2 WHIP. That was not a good start. Yeah, it was not a good start. It was against the Blue Jays, I believe. Yeah.
Yep.
And then I don't think Adam gave this dude a chance to pitch that second game. So
where he was decent, at least.
Yeah.
He was serviceable to 8 strikeouts, but he did give up 2 bombs. So yeah. I don't know if I would touch this guy with a 20-foot pole.
Yeah, no, it's going to be hard to get some wins from him too. But I also want to shout out one of his other Cy Young candidates. Eric Swanson had an awesome week. He pitched only 3 innings or so, 3 and 3 1/3, but he struck out 9. That's almost every single person that he faced. He struck them out.
Yeah, I think I saw when he came in. It was one of these games against the Mariners I was watching, and they had made a point that he had struck out like 8 in a row, like 8 batters in a row or something like that. Like he was just on fire.
Yep. Yeah, that's insane. So yeah, I just wanted to shout him out here. Let's flip over to Matt, who again had a rough week after a strong start to the season. His bench was a 14 for 50, which is a lot on the bench. That is a 280 batting average, 6 runs, 2 doubles, a triple, a home run, 6 RBIs, a steal, 2 walks, and 14 strikeouts. Strangely enough, none of that plays, but it's still that's a lot to put on the bench there. Luckily, triples are the only offensive category he won, so that didn't. But he did have some trouble getting some players in this week. Josh Lowe on Wednesday did not start, and he was in the utility spot. And then Conforto, Marte, and Cruz were all sitting there on the bench and could have gone into that utility spot.
And there's a couple RBIs out there.
Yeah. I think Conforto had a great game. Cruz, I think, had a good game. So that's tough. And then on Saturday was another rough day for him. Nelson Cruz again on the bench, who went bananas in Mexico City.
Yep.
Yeah. And you have Joey Gallo, who's 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts in left field. You just put Josh Lowe into left field, throw Cruz into your util, and you're good. There was more he could have done. And then even on Sunday, like, Nelson Cruz was on the bench, and Josh Lowe 0 for 3 in utility. So I mean
he just scored 2 runs and stole a base. Like he was productive without getting a hit. But
he was, and you probably could have put him somewhere else in the outfield, right?
Even
Joey
Gallo's been struggling. Suzuki's been struggling. You're right. This is a lot. There's a lot of pieces here to manage on a day-to-day basis. Not to mention, I think Ty France was out Saturday and Sunday, so you could have put Gallo at first and yada yada yada.
Yep. Yeah, there were some options there.
Yeah.
So, there was just another sort of frustrating week with the benches, with the benchings. I mean, his transactions, he did make 6 ads, so he did use half of his ads this week. He added 3 relief pitchers, 2 starters, and 1 hitter. I know Peyton Battenfield was one of them, which was a disaster.
Yeah.
He did add Braxton Garrett, but I guess that's for this week. And then which Garrett's been great. Like I just couldn't hang on to him anymore. And then there were just some other like middle relievers. He added like Clevenger and Ian Hamilton and Winkowski and just like some guys to sort of fill the middle infield. I mean the middle relief role.
Yeah.
So there were just some questionable decisions. Like you still had 6 ads left. What were you chasing? What was the best bet to chase there on Sunday, and what could you have thrown at the wall?
I mean, he only needed one more relief appearance. Like,
yeah, and like
there has to be somebody.
The innings pitched too. I mean, if you're losing that bad in home runs, walks, ERA, like
just throw somebody.
Throw everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just sort of a disappointing benching week for Matt in general. We can highlight his key players here. His MVP, I'm going to give it to Salvi Perez, who goes 474 with a 500 on base, 2 runs, a double, a homer, 6 RBIs, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. His least valuable hitter is going to go to Ty France, who went 0 for 16 this week.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's fun. With no production, 1 walk,
Nothing.
5 strikeouts. He must have been, maybe he was hurt.
Actually, they were saying that he's sick. He was held out due to illness.
Oh, well then maybe he's not hurt. I don't know.
Yeah. So like they said, Saturday was like a scheduled day off, and then Sunday they're saying that he is sick.
Yeah.
So, but like he played the whole rest of the week and didn't record a single hit.
Yeah. I want to throw out another name for least valuable player, and that's a guy you don't even see on that list right now. It's Luis Guillorme, who barely played and was sitting in Matt's shortstop spot for the entire week, and he was on the bench for 5 out of 7 of those days.
You know what? I remember when he made this ad towards the end. It was towards the end of last week, of week 3, and I was just confused by it because he's a part-time player. Like he doesn't play and he doesn't hit.
Yeah, if that, right?
I mean, he's a great glove. He's a great clubhouse guy. He's great for the Mets, but he's not really a fantasy guy.
No, and it was just baffling that at 2 days in a row of a guy not starting, you would think, okay, let's switch this out. I don't care. I just need a body in there. So let's put so
and he doesn't steal. It's not like if you're chasing steals, but he doesn't steal bases and he doesn't really get on base. Like he doesn't do anything. He doesn't hit home runs. He's not going to do anything that's going to win you a category that you might be close in.
Right. Agreed. I do think it was heartbreaking that O'Neal Cruz suffered that injury, and I think it probably took some of the wind out of Matt's sails.
Yeah.
He started off really strong this year, and he had like the Marte, Trout, O'Neal Cruz. Like he had some pieces here that could work, but
even like Brandon Lau was doing really well, and then he kind of tailed off a little bit. I mean, he had an okay week, but like he's been struggling. So yeah, it's kind of all just coming downhill for him. And you're right, like he was in first place after the first 2 weeks, and now here he is in 14th place. Like he went downhill fast.
Yeah, it took a hard fall. I should
Yeah.
go into his classroom tomorrow, give him some bandages for his tough fall.
Or a hug.
Or a hug, that too. Hug for a trade. Um, for his Cy Young this week, we're gonna award it to Freddie Peralta, who goes 6 innings, gets the win, 8 strikeouts, an ERA of 3 and a 0.83 WHIP. That was pretty much the only option. Everyone else was pretty bad. For the Cy Youngs, we've got a lot of candidates here. We've got that guy Battenfield who walked more guys than he struck out. But I'm actually going to give it to the guy who should be his ace in Julio Urias, who he pitched 5 2/3 of an inning, took a loss, gave up 2 home runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, a 9.53 ERA, and a 1.59 WHIP against the Pirates. Yeah, okay, they're a first place team, but it's still Julio Urias against the Pirates. Like,
Right.
he has not been good, and he was bad
No,
against the Cubs. He was really bad against the Cubs.
he's lost 3 in a row. He's lost his last 3 starts. Hasn't pitched more than 5 2/3 in any of them. Yeah, he's been off.
Yeah. And he gets Bryce Harper tomorrow.
Yes, he does. Congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you. Yes, it is the week of Harper and Verlander. Yes, it is.
Yes.
Um,
And I just want to say, you mentioned this Battenfield guy, and I just want to say, because like I had picked him up for a start last week, and the Guardians got rained out, and so it pushed everything back, and he ended up being, because I think he was originally supposed to start against the Rockies last week, and then he got pushed to this week to start against it was the Rockies that he pitched against. I don't know. I dropped him because I didn't know when he was pitching.
okay.
And I guess I'm really glad that I did.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because he had an okay start against the Yankees and okay against Detroit, but so I wouldn't have blamed you if you held on to him, but like you definitely jumped ship at the right time here.
Part of his issues was he also came in relief on Sunday and was horrible.
Oh, okay.
He threw 2 innings of relief on Sunday and gave
Walked
up a home run, 4 walks, and a 13.50 ERA. Yeah, so that was part of it too. I would have dumped him after this start against the Rockies.
Yeah, or at least gotten him on the bench or something.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Eric Lauer, who was terrible, and AJ Minter, who is no longer on this team, but also got a save today. So
yeah, I know.
yeah.
But he was also, I mean, he was a 12th round draft pick. But he's been struggling. He's been really bad, and Iglesias is coming back imminently. So I understand it. It just sucks that that's your 12th round pick.
Yeah, it does, and he probably would have figured he's gonna figure it out at some point this year. I'm betting on it. But it was a rough weekend overall, and then on top of it, you lose DeGrom halfway through start, and like it's just the icing on this downhill stumble.
Very bad tasting cake.
Yeah, this cake tastes like dirt. All right, so any other comments on this matchup here? It was just insanely lopsided. We see a huge shakeup as far as these two switching in the standings.
Yeah, I mean, Adam, welcome to the league. You're in 4th place, dude.
Yeah, and I'm playing him this week, and he's got, like I said, a complete game shutout from Herman going, and he's got a 2-run homer from Swanson already. Like he's coming in hot, and he's not stopping. So, and
we can touch on it. There was a trade that happened last 11th hour of week 4. Adam pulls off a deal with Frank, and Adam's getting the top 2 relievers in the Phillies bullpen, like just like that. He gets Kimbrel and Alvarado. Your thoughts?
Well, I just played against those two when I played Frank 2 weeks ago, and now I got to revisit playing them again. And it's frustrating because you plan on playing against someone with a certain strategy, and then, the Monday or the right before the week starts, like suddenly this guy's got two potential guys that can pick up saves on his team versus when he had zero. So it definitely shakes things up.
I mean,
I'm
he did deal away Stephen Kwan, so like maybe that helps you on the offensive side because his outfield is kind of not strong without him. But yeah, I mean that's a big haul to get both of those two guys. I mean, they're a lock for saves every week.
Yeah, and like I don't know, I probably would have pushed for more if I was giving up both of them, but Kwan is a good player, but I mean,
yeah,
Kwan for one of them is fine for me. So yeah, that's what I'm dealing with here now. With these two guys added onto the team, but Stephen Kwan subtracted from the team.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it shakes out, but yeah, I mean, here on May the 1st, I'm saying that this was definitely a trade in Adam's favor, and now he's in 4th place, so we'll see what he can do with it.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's move forward, and we're going to talk about Kostas taking an 11-6 win over Christian Wood. This was an interesting matchup because there was like Kostas had built a lead, and then Christian pushed it back, and he kept getting closer, and then Kostas would spread it apart again, and ended up being fairly close with a lot of tie categories. So we'll get into the close categories here. Kostas wins by a couple of RBIs, 3 errors. He wins by the save, 7 walks, and it was 0.06 on the whip. Christian wins by 1 run, 1 double, 3 wins, 1 strikeout by a pitcher. And they tied in triples with 0, home runs by a batter, walks by a batter, and relief appearances. On Kostas' bench this week, he went 0 for 0.
Wow. Nice, Kostas.
Yeah, so none of that plays.
All right.
Or maybe all the plays. I don't know. Yeah, he didn't have any bench stats. So good job on Kostas. For his ads this week, just a couple interesting things. He used all 12. Nothing really too notable, but he did pick up Kyle Bradish, and he was awful. We'll get into him in a little bit. He picked up on the 27th. He added Victor Robles and Lamont Wade. The next day, neither one of them did anything that day. He then dropped Wade the next day. He went and hit a home run. Then he dropped Robles on Sunday, who went 2 for 4 with a double and 2 RBIs. So just some poor luck there.
Yeah.
For his key players, his MVP, I'm going to give it to JT Realmuto, who goes 421 with 400 on base, 2 runs, a double, a homer, 3 RBIs, a steal, 2 strikeouts, and an error. But he has a lot of other candidates. I mean, Tatis was terrific. Welcome back to the show. Kirk was terrific. Freeman was terrific. He had a lot of good a lot of good hitting this week.
Yeah.
For his least valuable hitter, Ahmed Rosario was not one of them. He was not good. He did chip in a steal and 2 RBIs, but 9 strikeouts and an error, of 125 average and a 120 on base. Not ideal.
No.
On the pitching side, the Cy Young, Alex Cobb. What's gotten into you? 14 innings, a win, a homer, a walk, 11 strikeouts, a 1.93 ERA, and a 1 WHIP. Yeah, and like that includes a complete game shutout over the Cardinals on Monday. That was impressive. Great week from him. Mackenzie Gore had a good week with 10 strikeouts. Zach Gallen with 12, but had to give it to Alex Cobb here.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And his Cy Young, I am going to give it to aforementioned Kyle Bradish. He picked him up for the start against the Red Sox, and he goes 2 1/3, takes the loss, gives up a homer, 4 walks and a strikeout, a 27 ERA, and a 5.14 WHIP. Gross.
Yeah, not good.
For Christian on the bench, he went just 2 for 15, which is a nice 133. Just a run, an RBI, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. None of it. Well, the only thing that none of it played, actually. None of it played. It was just a solid benching. He went a couple of days without even having any extra hitters, which helped. So there was really nothing really to think about. He added a couple of guys. On Sunday, he added Lamont Wade and Matt Vierling, but that was after the bell. So those guys didn't count. Otherwise, he used 11 ads, but nothing else really stood out to me as noteworthy. He did pick up JP Sears for a stream, and that didn't work out. He picked up Jose Buto for a start, that didn't work out. So a lot of his streams just didn't really work this week.
Yeah, and it seemed like he was playing with the minimum offensively. Like he didn't even have a bench player for some time. He does now, but I think he was playing with the
I think it was Friday and Saturday. He had nobody on the bench. He had no extra players. Yeah, but you had like Frazier was postponed. Like so I feel like you could have done something here.
Edmund didn't start, Marsh didn't start, Gonzalez didn't. Like this is, you need to have in my opinion, you need to have a top-notch offense to empty your bench like that.
Right. And so, I mean, you don't need to hang on to guys like Danny Colombo, and like you can drop these guys and find a second baseman like to plug in. And I know this game was like early on in the day. I think it was called pretty early, so like you could have found somewhere to take care of that. And on Saturday he also didn't have any spare hitters. And again, Frazier was not in. He didn't start either of the games in the doubleheader. How Ramirez was out. So yeah, there was things where he could have been a little bit more managing, I think.
Yeah, especially if you first of all, he was close offensively throughout the week. Like he wasn't. I mean, he was winning some of those stats, but also like they were so close that like. You have to make sure you're playing some offensive players here. If you're losing batting average and on base like you are, like what do you have to lose? Chase those walks and home runs
Get a walk, get 2 RBIs, like.
And that's probably the difference in this matchup here is if he adds a couple of players to fill in those holes throughout the week, you're getting a walk here and there. You could get lucky and get a home run, and then it's a much different matchup,
It could be even a win, if it goes right.
Yeah.
Alas, let's look at his key players for the week. It was kind of hard because he did not have, like I said, he didn't have a good offensive week. He only hit 203 with a 260 on base. In part because he didn't have those spare players to plug in for when Frazier was out or Gonzalez was out or whatever. So I guess we're giving it to Alex Verdugo. 4 runs, 2 doubles, a homer, 6 RBIs, a walk, 5 strikeouts, a 259 with a 286. I mean, the rate stats aren't great, but at least he was productive. Devers, same thing, but I mean, Devers had 136. It's just awful.
Yeah.
But his least valuable hitter, Jose Abreu. This guy's been awful. He still hasn't hit a home run. He has 0 home runs, and we're through the first month of the season. That's awful. A run, a double, an RBI, 4 strikeouts, a 174 average on base.
Who
This is
hits
a
a
guy
home
you're counting on
run?
to be like a cornerstone of your offense, and he's practically droppable.
Yeah. Who hits a home run first, him or Rendon?
That's a great question. Um, I gotta go with Abreu because I think Rendon's gonna get hurt.
Awesome.
I'm glad I didn't draft that guy.
Yeah.
For
Thanks.
his on his pitching side, again, not great, not a whole lot to write home about here, except for Nate Eovaldi. 15 innings, a win, a walk, 15 strikeouts, a 180 ERA, and a .67 WHIP. This also, I'm sure you watched this game
Yeah,
on
he just
Saturday. This
destroyed us.
complete game, yeah, just dominated the Yankees.
Yep.
He's a former Yankee, isn't he?
And Red Sox. But yeah.
And Red Sox, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, he had a terrific week. It wasn't a great start against Cincinnati, but it was good enough. And then yeah, that start against the Yankees was just bunkers.
When you don't have Judge or Stanton, like what are you? And that's what we are.
You're Gleyber Torres, I guess.
We're Gleyber Torres and DJ and Rizzo, and that's it.
Yeah. For his Cy Yuck, it could. The 6 walks from Buto was terrible. And that was not a good start. But Scott Alexander, we talked about him for Joe's matchup, and he was not good for Christian either. An inning and a third, 2 walks, a strikeout, a 20.25 ERA, and a 2.25 WHIP. He just did not have a good week. This guy, we might want to start avoiding this guy.
Yeah, he's got that starting pitcher eligibility as a reliever, which is tempting. But when he's not good, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't know that you necessarily want to go down that path, but
I think there's better guys out there. I mean, yes, the starting pitcher eligibility is nice, but I think you can find something better.
yes, agreed.
All right, so so Kostas takes this win. Christian is floating around down in 12th. I don't know, what'd you see in here?
Yeah, no, it was a good solid like day at the office for Kostas. I think he did what he needed to in this matchup. He pitched really well.
Yeah.
The fact that he threw 69 in the third innings and almost passed Christian in strikeouts, and Christian threw 90 innings. Like that right there says it all. Like that was really impressive for him to do that. And 70 innings and an ERA under 3 is also insanely impressive for him to only give up 3 home runs. Like that was a really, really great pitching showcase by Kostas here.
I know Whip was really close. Do you think, he used 11 ads. Do you think he could have found another reliever to maybe give him that relief appearance and maybe a strikeout and try and grab those stats?
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I'm trying to see what he had going on Sunday. Yeah, I mean, I think he liked the Will Smith Michael King duo, hoping that at least one of them would get into the game against each other. But a blowout would be the only reason why they wouldn't get into the game. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you
it would
could
have been
go
tough.
grab a starting pitcher or an SP eligible relief pitcher and plug that third hole up there, but
Yeah.
it's tough because he did get 3 relief appearances, so you think,
Yeah.
and he got what 15? He got 19 strikeouts, so he probably didn't even think he was in the running for strikeouts.
Yeah,
In.
and all of a sudden there he is, just needed one more. Oh, that's kind of heartbreaking, actually.
It is. It is.
He had 19 strikeouts on Sunday and fall 1 short.
Yeah, and 3 relief appearances, and you tie it.
Yeah.
And Christian had 2 relief appearances,
And he only struck out 8.
and he only struck out 8. Yeah, because Brady Singer was atrocious.
Yeah. but he still struck out 5.
Yeah, those those were 5 huge strikeouts, that's for sure.
All right. Let's move on here, and I guess it's that time, huh?
It is. It's that time for your matchup, Jason.
Yeah. I was not pleased with the way that this went down, but I just want to say congrats to Henry for doubling me up and sticking it to me. So, Mike, take it away.
Yeah, Henry, great win. Well deserved. Pitching was excellent. Did a great job managing that staff. Let's dive into the numbers and we'll see what happened here. Close categories. Henry wins by 3 doubles, a walk by a batter, which I'm sure is heartbreaking. Four strikeouts by a batter, 2 home runs given up by a pitcher, and 2 relief appearances. Jason, you won by 4 runs, 2 homers, 4 RBIs, and 7 strikeouts by a pitcher. You guys tied in 3 categories: triples with 0, errors with 2, and wins with 4. We'll start with Henry. On his bench, he goes 7 for 40, which is very nice. That's a 175 batting average. 2 runs, a homer, an RBI, a steal, a walk, and 12 strikeouts. None of that plays. So very well done. He could have gotten Jimenez in on Saturday instead of Bryson Stott, who went 0 for 5 at second base. But again, it's just a little bit nitpicky, and it didn't really matter.
Yeah, and benching the 12 strikeouts was huge because he only won that by 4. So, yeah, that was well done.
Yeah. He also benched, which I thought was interesting, and it's not his fault, but he benched John Duran for that one day that Duran was supposed to be not available.
Yeah.
And he actually came in and pitched and took the loss. Not that losses were close, but I just think it was kind of fascinating that he didn't get that. He benched that relief appearance. He benched the loss and a couple
by accident almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the RP spot just empty and wide open in front of him. For his transactions this week, Henry used 8 of his ads, and Jason, he did not add any pitching. So he used all 8 ads on hitters. And would you believe it if I told you that half of those ads were catchers?
I would in fact, because that's been the theme of his season, is kind of this catcher roulette that he's been playing. And yeah, I watched that because again, it was Zunino and Sabol and Jansen and Diaz and
Yep. Oh my gosh, Domingo Germán just the Guardians tied the game at 2 in the 9th inning.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh dear.
For you, Jason. Oh wait, no. Henry's key players here. We're gonna give his MVP to a guy that probably drove both of us crazy in back-to-back weeks, Matt Chapman, with a 450 average, a 560 on 3 runs, and if that's not good enough, let's throw 5 doubles in there. 4 RBIs, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, and an error. The guy's been red hot. He's just way more than what Henry could have expected of him.
Yeah, because the way that he ended the 2021 and 2022 seasons, I feel like he was starting to become, I won't say a fringe player, but he certainly wasn't this. And he was kind of like, okay, do I avoid him because he strikes out a ton? He's been amazing this year.
He's been amazing, and the most staggering stat is what we just looked at there. He has 15 doubles. He has 15 doubles already in 1 month.
Double machines.
Obviously, he's not going to continue at this pace, but 15 doubles in 1 month is staggering.
Yeah, 465 on base with a 384 average. That's disgusting.
Yeah. His least valuable hitter this week. Let's give it to Willie Adames, who goes 105 on the batting average side, a 261 on base, 2 runs. He did have a homer and 2 RBIs, but 4 walks and 11 strikeouts and an error. He was an easy out this week. I also want to shout out to Franchy Cordero. Like, I just want to say, why was this guy on your team? Why is he even in that NA spot? Why is he rostered?
Yeah, he was hot for what, like a minute.
Was he
Oh, they just
even
called him back. They just called him back up. Yeah, he was. He went
for
on,
a day?
a quick. Yeah, he went on a quick little bender. I mean, he's got 4 home runs and 11 RBIs. So he went on a quick little bender, and then just remembered that he was Frenchy Cordero and that he's not supposed to be able to hit.
Yeah, and we're so injured and banged up, and he's still not a starter on this team. Like, that should indicate something to you that I'm gonna say bye-bye.
Yeah.
All right, for his Cy Young, we're gonna give it to Carlos Estevez, who went 3 2/3, 3 saves, 5 strikeouts, nothing earned, a .27 whip, and 3 relief appearances. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
drafted the wrong angel. It's okay.
well, because I mean, and this is what spring training does to us, right? Because he
Yep.
was terrible in spring training and looked like he was not in line to get the job of closer, and here he is.
Yep.
Just saving game after game after game.
Yep.
And here is that Matt Strom start that I mentioned. That he went up
Yeah.
against George Kirby, like
Very good.
5 1/3 shutout innings, but like he was teetering. That's why they took him out in the 6th inning. And he gets the win. Like, and George Kirby pitched better, but
Yeah,
that's baseball.
that's baseball. Susan. He had good pitching all up and down this roster here with Luzardo and Eflin and Garrett Cole. Charlie Morton had an awesome start too.
Yep.
I have to give the Cy Yuck, unfortunately, to Lance Lynn, who pitched okay, but he did take those 2 losses. And they were against Toronto and Tampa Bay, so it wasn't easy matchups, but at the same time, 2 losses are 2 losses. And when you have an ERA of what he did this week, like,
Yeah.
not Lynn, but what Henry did this week, like, it's hard to find that Cy Yuck, and this is probably the only candidate that sticks out because of those losses.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like he probably only pitched long enough to record 14 strikeouts because the White Sox have no alternative. They have to throw him out there because there's no bullpen.
Yeah, you're right. So that's, I mean, definitely kudos to Henry for an awesome pitching performance. I'm sure it just felt stifling for you. Did it feel like every guy that was going out there was just like throwing 6-7 innings of like
Yes. And the thing is, when you look at his team, you think, okay, all right, Garrett Cole, I admit defeat on that, but everybody else on here is like middle of the road, So but you're getting 5 great innings from Zach Eflin. You're getting 14 strikeouts from Lance Lynn. You're getting a great start from Charlie Morton. Like, these guys are just like, even this Morita kid, whoever the fuck this is, gives him 2 relief appearances in 3 2/3 innings. Like,
yeah,
it was very frustrating because like there, other than Cole, there was nobody that was like, okay, that's the guy,
yeah.
Um,
So let's flip over to you here. On your bench this week, if I can find you, you went 6-4-28, which is a 214 batting average. 3 runs, a double, 3 RBIs. You did have 5 steals on your bench, which does not matter, because you stole 58 bases this week. A walk and 4 strikeouts. None of that plays. So there's really Nothing else.
The walk, which I don't remember.
Yes, the one walk plays.
Yeah, I don't remember what day that was,
That
but
was on Tuesday.
okay, yeah. And the steals, it was Ruiz. There was one day he stole like 4 bases in
Yeah.
one day on the bench, but I didn't really need the steals. Yeah, it was Vargas with the walk on Tuesday.
I think you would have set a record if you had played all your steal. I think 15 steals in 7 days would have been a record.
Probably could have been. Joe can verify that.
So yeah, none of that plays. So great job with your benching. I mean, you have players on your bench that are talented players. So and in your starting lineup. So Tuesday, I mean, you were 2 for 9 on Tuesday. It was just it's just one walk, you know. You used all 12 ads this week. And you only added, of those 12, you only added 2 hitters. So I guess you felt comfortable with that bench. And there you are, chasing those relief appearances with the 7 reliever ads and 3 starters as well.
Yeah.
Was that your strategy going into it?
Yeah, it was because like it was close, and again, because I knew that like a lot of his pitching was a lot of relievers. Like, okay, he had Cole and Luzardo and Lynn, but like a lot of his pitching was bullpen. So I felt like I needed to kind of keep up with that. And so yeah, I was kind of cycling through relievers, and I was feeling like it was working. Especially going into Sunday, I knew that I had like Presley and Abreu and like, all these guys were fresh. None of them had pitched in like days.
Mhm.
Presley and Abreu, Rogers, Thompson, Sims, Neris, Stanek, all these guys, none of them had pitched in days. So I was feeling pretty good that I could get a few of those in. But I didn't think that he was going to get anybody in, and I think he got like 3, and that just killed it.
Yeah, and I'm taking a look at his Sunday right now. Yeah, he got Duran in for a save, a one third of an inning save. He got Estevez for a save, and he got an inning and 2/3 from Moreta, which turned out to be pretty much a bullpen game for the Pirates. So you knew he was probably coming into the game at some point. But
yes. And
yeah.
I had 4 relief appearances that day. Like, so like my strategy mostly worked because I was like, okay, like all I needed was like, and it was funny because I had Bailey Falter going for the Phillies in that Sunday night game. So of course, you know, I'm hoping for a win because wins were tied. So I'm hoping for a win. He pitches horrible. And so I'm like, okay, well, Astros are only up by 1, so you're probably going to see Abreu and Presley. Cool. I'll get a save, which doesn't really matter. All I needed was for one of these guys to get a win, and Hexman came in too. And I was like, maybe my ERA was shot to hell. Go ahead and give up the lead, and then get the win. Like that's all I needed. And it was very frustrating.
Yeah. No, and for you to end this close in something that you were chasing, it's I know that feeling. It's and you tied in wins too. It's frustrating.
And I got 2 wins on Sunday from guys that I didn't think were going to get wins. Chris Sale has been awful, and Josiah Gray. I mean, he was going against the best team in baseball apparently. But I took a chance in starting both of them, and so I got the 2 wins there. I just needed one more.
Yeah. What were, because home runs were really close. Oh, you only gave up 1 home run on Sunday.
Yeah.
So
and that was
you were already
Falter.
losing that. Okay. Yeah.
And again, my ERA was awful. And also on the offensive side, I know I ended up with 5 home runs. He was like up 1-0 going into like Thursday or something like that. I didn't even hit a home run until like the end of the week.
Wow.
It was my offense just, which I've been counting on my offense this year. This week did not show up.
Yeah, no, they did not. Let's get into those key players here. For your MVP this week, we're gonna give it to Wander Franco here, who hits 333, a 357 on base, 6 runs, 3 doubles, a homer, 4 RBIs, 2 steals, a walk, 5 strikeouts, and an error. Your least valuable hitter, let's give it to Dalton Varsho, who has been abysmal.
Yeah.
0.91 and batting average, a 200 on base, a run, an RBI, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. And yeah, just a whole lot of nothing from him.
Yeah, I was really, really, really hoping for something from him because again, the catcher and the outfield eligibility. Um, this, yeah, I'm kind of stuck with him, but hopefully
Yeah,
he'll turn it around.
yeah. I mean, on that Blue Jays team, he's filled with support there, but it's just how long until you cut ties? I mean, you drafted him pretty early, right?
Yeah, 5th round.
5th round, so you are stuck.
And how mad was I that Kevin Cash gives Wander Franco Sunday off? He's like on fire. They're off on Monday. Like, let him play. And like, he could have done something for me to help, but no, just sits him on the bench.
Yep. Yeah, it's always Kevin Cash.
Yeah.
Always Kevin Cash's fault. Anytime you lose
Yep.
fantasy, just blame Kevin Cash.
I'm gonna do that from now on.
Yeah. I mean, you also had some other sort of disappointing performances offensively. Like Varsho was notably bad. Christian Yelich only hit 067 this week. Julio not only struck out 10 times, but also got hurt. Suarez struck out 8 times. Like Ruiz wasn't good when you played him. It was a tough offensive week in general.
Yeah.
Julio, I don't think is a serious injury though, right?
No, and I think having today off, helps. He took batting practice on Sunday, so
Okay,
I
that's a
think
good
he'll be all
sign.
right.
Yeah, it's a good sign. On the pitching side of things, your Cy Young, let's give it to Grayson Rodriguez. Why not? 5 innings, a win, a walk, 9 strikeouts, nothing earned, and a .60 WHIP. Granted, it was against the Tigers, but good for him. Great start.
Yeah, and again, like because they got postponed on Saturday or on Friday, and I didn't know like how the pitching was going to shape up. If they were going to push everybody back or what they were doing. So I'm glad he still got that start against the Tigers.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Josiah Gray also gave you a great start. But yeah, I think Grayson probably had the best one out of the bunch here.
Yeah.
For your Cy Yuck, we gotta give it to your first starter of the weekend, Jose Suarez here, with the 5 innings. He gave up 5 home runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, a 12.60 ERA, and a 2 WHIP. And that was up against
the A's.
The Oakland Athletics, yes.
And then he goes ahead and twirls a 5-inning shutout against the Brewers on Sunday.
Yes, of course he does.
Yeah, of course he does.
Yep. Yeah, that was tough to watch there.
Yeah.
All right, so Jason, that's sort of the breakdown of your matchup here. You kind of commented on the frustrations here. What else do you want to add about it?
Yeah, I mean, look, that's really it. Like, I've in years past, I've always kind of coveted stolen bases. So for me to get 10 in a week is like kind of nice. But the rest of my offense just did not show up this week. So, and now I'm going up against Joe, and I'm scared for my life.
Yeah, you just got to hope some of these offensive pieces just kind of come back and click a little bit. Like you need Yelich to produce. You need Julio healthy.
Yeah.
Taylor Walls
I need Varsho to do something.
And he stole a base for you tonight. Alonso hit a home run for you today. Like you've got a decent start. Taylor Walls and Wander Franco, I think, is a really fun pairing. So you've got the pieces there. And we talked about your pitching staff. You really do need Chris Sale to turn things around.
I'm hoping the start that he had on Sunday is the turning point, because I'm holding my breath with this guy.
Yeah, because it's Framber, it's Chris Sale, and you've got the piece that I sent you in the trade with Detmers. Grayson Rodriguez, you hope can build off of that start, but like these are you don't have that step up ace yet, and hopefully Rodon comes back and can give you that. But in the meantime, I feel like Sale and Valdez need to like step up.
Absolutely, and I mean Rodon is inching his way closer, so I knew he was going to be missing some time, so he was kind of more of a second half or third quarter of the season kind of pick, but we'll see what he can give me.
Yeah, for sure. And so you take the 12-6 loss, you're in 10th place, but you're a game under 500. Like this early in the season, I don't think that this is that detrimental to your success moving forward this season. It's a tough loss, but it's not, you weren't buried.
I'm not pressing the panic button just yet.
No.
Another loss or two like this, and then things are going to start rolling. But you're right. It is still early. There's summer's coming, so hopefully these guys can get better as the weather warms up. We'll see how it goes.
Looking ahead at your schedule, though, it does not get easy. I mean, you've got Joe this week, and then since you and I follow the same schedule, I know exactly who you're playing. You've got Joe this week, then you've got Adam, who is red hot right now, the week after, and then you have Ben. So it's not an easy stretch for you. So I feel like the next 3 weeks is like it's critical.
Yeah. This is again, I hate to say that this early in the season, but it could make or break the season.
It could.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we get into our managers of the week?
Let's do it. Who is your number 3?
All right. Oh man, got some good ones this week.
Sure do.
Man, we didn't talk about this matchup, but I want to give credit to Frank Bucco here, taking a 14-6 victory over Bobby Russo, who was the number 1 seed. So more than doubling up the number 1 seed here, and Frank really needed this. So I give him all the credit in the world for, he was in last place for the first 3-4 weeks of the season, and here he comes in and gets a huge, +8 in week 4. So good for you, Frank. You definitely played your ass off, and it showed.
Yeah. And for those same reasons, he's my number 3 as well. You're absolutely right. We said last week that he needed this win, and he did, and he got it. And he got it big enough to pull him out of the basement and knock Bobby out of that top spot. Let's see if he can build on it and keep going, moving up the standings. But good job for you, Frank.
Yeah, absolutely. My number 2 is probably could have been the number 1 based on how big he won, but going against the manager who was not making moves, I'm gonna give it to Adam here for the damage that he inflicted on Matt Loosee. Taking a 17-4 win over Loosee is awesome, but we did sort of mention some of the holes in Loosee's lineup and some of the missing moves that he could have made to mitigate some of these losses and to shrink the gap that he just didn't make. So I don't want to take anything away. Adam had an awesome week and deserves the credit. That's why he's my number 2 manager of the week, but not my number 1.
Yeah, I definitely want to give a shout out for Adam, because you're right. He dominated Matt, but to your point, he didn't have to do much. I also want to give a shout out to James McCloskey, who took down Ari and put himself into first place. Again, neither opponent did much. Both of them made only 2 ads, I believe, this week. So there wasn't a whole lot that happened. for my number 2, I gotta go with your brother. He took down Ben Nisman, and I'm sorry, when you do that, especially 13-7 is a good variance. That gives you guys gotta get credit for that. So hats off to Josh. That's 2 in a row for you, buddy. Keep it rolling.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, who's your number 1?
My number 1 has to be Josh. And I commented last week on how dominant and masterful Ben was in the chess game that he played. And Josh took the chessboard and he turned it upside down and he played a different game. And he beat Ben at his own game. He came in here, and if you look at those pitching stats, like,
Yeah.
I'm floored by what he did. He won by 1 inning. He won by 1 win. He won by 1 loss. He won by 1 save. He won by 2 home runs given up and 3 walks given up. And then the ERA and WHIP and 2 relief appearances. Like, absolutely incredible to do that to the guy that we said the week before was the mastermind of the pitching staff. I can't not give it to my brother for a 13-7 victory.
Yeah, and I mean, I know Ben and Joe will get into it in their show, but I mean, Sunday was just crazy, and Josh even texted me and was like, "This is crazy," because Ben threw to an 11.37 ERA, and Josh didn't give up a run in 4 2/3. So with 6 relief appearances, it was nuts. And he did text me and said, all I want to do is win, I want to win relieving, and he did. So yeah, congrats to Josh.
Yeah. Excellent week.
But my number 1 is going to be the other Haber brother, and that's you, sir, for what you did to Joe and just the masterpiece that you put together against one of the toughest competitors in this league, and you just took him down like he was a rookie. So good job on you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, my friend. It was a lot of work, but it was worth it.
Yeah. And now you're sitting pretty in second place. So let's see if you can hold on to that and move up to that crown.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, I think that's going to put a bow on week 4. Week 5 looks to be another exciting week. A lot of exciting matchups. I'm curious to see how Adam takes care of you. And until next week, guys, it's been real.
And it has been fun.
And it is always real fun in the bigs. We'll see you next time, guys.